Well, let's keep the focus on this. We're joined from Washington by Dr. Kamran Bokhari from the George Washington University's Program on Extremism. Doctor, thank you very much for joining us. Let's start with the bomb itself. General John Nicholson describing this as the right weapon for the target. What do you make of this?
I think that's pretty accurate. You would not be using a $15 million piece weapon frivolously or just to send some message or telegraph something to the North Koreans or the Russians. I think that there was significant intelligence about the identity of the people who were in this complex, and that they were high-level operatives of ISIS. And of course, then there's the logistics. What kind of weapon will be used in a decisive airstrike and lead to the outcome that is desired?
And how significant was this target area then? We're talking about 300-meter long network of caves, of tunnels. How significant was hitting this particular location?
We don't have much intelligence on it. But from what I can speculate is that, again, if that the decision was taken to use this particular weapon means that there was a significant complex, a sprawling complex that could not be taken out by any other weapon, at least not in a decisive way. And of course, the people inside were not some low-level operatives. They had to be senior officials who were actually involved in the day-to-day planning and operations of ISIS attacks in country.
Yes, let's focus on those operatives then. IS operating in Afghanistan since around 2015. How effective are they in that particular part of the world? Of course, we know so much about them in Iraq and Syria.
So we have to keep in mind that ISIS did not walk or travel from its core turf in Syria, Iraq to Afghanistan. The ISIS in Afghanistan, like any other country, Bangladesh or in the Far East or somewhere else in Africa, consists of local actors who have joined ISIS on their own. In other words, they were there, they had their own presence independent of ISIS, they just switched sides. They were likely former Taliban or Al-Qaeda or both. And therefore, they had the wherewithal to support the ISIS cause. And then, of course, ISIS may have given them some assistance, financial or tradecraft or something else. And therefore, this is a formidable presence. ISIS has demonstrated its ability to even target Kabul. There was a deadly attack recently. And therefore, if you have the intelligence, you don't sit on it, you act on it.
Now, a lot is being said about Donald Trump's strategy or the lack of it. What do you think is he going to do going forward? Is there a strategy, or are these one-off strikes?
So, I mean, when we talk about strategy, we have to keep in mind that a change in government in terms of a new political party taking office or a new head of state coming in does not mean that there will be a new strategy per se. Yes, there will be new ideas that will be brought to the table through the new staff of the president, trying to deal with the same problems that their predecessors were struggling with. So that's something to bear in mind here when we talk about strategy. At this point, there is no good strategy. There are a set of options that, not all of them, most of them are, on a sliding scale of, bad to worse. So this is a very difficult situation. It doesn't matter whether Trump's in office or if someone else had been elected. If Hillary Clinton had been elected, she would have faced the same problem. So what do you do in that? You make the best of the situation. You take it one day at a time, and therefore, hence the one-off strikes, and you deal with it in a coherent fashion, but in a fashion that sort of makes sense for the reality on the ground as it unfolds.
A sliding scale of bad to worse. Dr. Bokhari from the George Washington University. We're going to leave it there, but thank you very much for your expertise. We will turn